What if you wrote your book out loud? Yes, what if you actually talked your book, your entire book? In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the idea of verbal writing and how this actually might be a wonderful breakthrough for you to stop procrastinating, stop thinking, I've got to get it down with pen or pencil or on the computer, and just start writing by just talking. I'm excited you're here. Let's get started. There is a stigma around what writing is supposed to look like. Take a minute. What is the image that shows up for you when you think of writing? Do you see black words on a white page or an ivory page? Do you see your laptop open and you're in a Google Doc or a Word document of some sort? Again, black words on the white page. Are you with pen and paper, having your daybook, your notebook open? That might be blue or black words on a white page. I'm going to guess that a certain image shows up. And today, I actually want to talk about a slight shift that we can make in what gets to count as writing. And I want to focus on the idea of verbal writing. Shana Hartman here, embodied writing coach. I'm so excited to be with you and super excited about this episode. This is going to be a bit of a short episode because it's probably something that you do already, but you aren't maybe allowing it to support you in writing for yourself, for your book, and so on. So I want to kind of spend some time with it today, give you some tools to move forward, and hopefully give you another way to get your words out with ease. So all of you know, I'm an embodied writing coach. So I'm a certified body mind method coach, and I really love to get my clients embodied, help them connect to themselves in order to bring their words out, get their words down with ease. And one thing that I notice in our support of them is sometimes our writers don't realize that they have a process that is really powerful for them, but they're not allowing themselves to use it because they think writing is supposed to look a certain way. So let me give you an example. A certain client who's coming up, her book is getting ready to be published here in the next month or so. She told me once we kind of had our full manuscript, she said, I feel like I've cheated. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, I've pretty much written this just by talking. And I said, yeah, that is your process. And we tapped into that. And now you have a book. So what is verbal writing? What I mean by this is if you are a talk out loud kind of person, a verbal processor, someone that needs to kind of let it be messy and just get their words out as quickly as possible. And for whatever reason, doing that with your audible words, your language out loud feels light and easy, then verbal writing might be something that I really want to encourage you to try as a way to actually get words down that you use in your writing, in your book. Okay. So this can look like so many different ways. So I'll just give some examples in my work with our writers in our embodied writing mastermind. So one is that we have our live sessions together. We like to do big writing days. So we dedicate one day a month where we come together for about 4 or 5 hours and we do so many things. We talk out loud. We share, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Here's where I am with this chapter or this idea or this part of my book. And we get people just talking. I ask questions. My other writing coaches ask questions. Some of the other writers ask questions, and we get the person talking. And as they're talking, right, we're recording. I'm also capturing. I will often pop into the chat and just type up some of the keywords and things that they are saying as they talk. And what happens with that is they get in motion and in momentum and connected to themselves. Think about it. Verbal talking is a part of your body. It's a physiological process. And so as they're doing that, they just get more connected to themselves. They've had these people hold space for what they're talking about. And they get these really powerful, I call them downloads and ideas of what they actually want to say, and things just click. And then the whole time we've, helped reflect back what they're saying. So that might be out loud to them, like, hey, here's what you seem to be saying. And they can take notes on that. Again, like I said, we might be in the chat and capturing for them, like literally kind of live transcribing what they're saying. And then we also record. So people get to go back and listen to it and type up from that. Or if they want to transcribe it, they can do that themselves. So that's one way that it shows up. Another way that we use with our clients is a tool called Voxer, Voxer. This is called a walkie-talkie app, and you simply press a button and you can start talking, and you have a chat going with one person or more than one person, and it shows up as an audio message to the other. And this is what my client, whose book's getting ready to come out, talks. That's how she wrote a lot of her book. We would then take those verbal chat messages, those walkie-talkie messages, and we transcribe them. And here's the thing. It wasn't necessarily, sometimes it was, those were the exact words that wound up in the chapter, in the section, in the book. And sometimes it was just capturing of ideas that then when she had those in front of her, she could write from them or use a word or two or a line or two, a sentence or two, and then springboard off from there. But without that verbal writing, things would get lost. Things would, how many times have you been somewhere and you're like, oh, I just need, if I could write this down. Don't write it down. Just say it out loud into something that gets recorded, right? We all have so many tools. We have voice memo on our phones where we can do this for ourselves. I have another client who, her book, she used just her regular voice memo app on her phone. And then she would send that into, her transcribing tool that she would use, like Temi or Rev or whatever it is. The other tool that some people use is Otter.ai. This is an app, and also you can do it on your computer. And same thing, capturing verbally, but what this does is it transcribes on the spot. And there is a free version of it that gives you a good amount of minutes per month. And I will use this sometimes if a client has boxed me an audio message, I'll pop it right in front of and let Otter capture it and transcribe it on the spot. And then I'll put that in their shared files that we're using for their book. And then sometimes they like to do that themselves and then send me that document or just put it in with their book writing files. Verbal writing is so powerful. I cannot emphasize it enough. And we often think that it doesn't count. It's not real writing. And I just really want to lean in and call a little bit of BS on that. Okay. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Do you do this already? Some of you may be listening and go, yeah, I do that all the time. Is it something completely new? Like, oh yeah, I'm a verbal processor, but it's not how I use it to write my books or my social media posts or anything like that. Or are you somewhere in between, right? Like maybe you've used it, but you've not used it in this way that we've discussed. Wherever you are, whatever you do, I'd love to hear like what shows up for you around this idea of verbal writing. Thanks as always for joining me. Be sure you share this wherever you see fit. And I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Written Compass. If you are enjoying this content, do me a favor and go and review the podcast. This allows me to share and get these messages out to the people who really need them, who we want to read their books in the future. You can also go and share your thoughts and tag me at @ShaynaHartman_ on Instagram. Again, this is just a way for us to get connected and share the writing love. And if you know that you are ready to write your book, that message that's been burning inside of you for a long time, then I want to talk to you. My team and I want to talk to you. Head on over to ShaynaHartman.com and click Work with Us. From there, you'll see an application to explore and see if writing your book is your next best step.